Hi everyone, Pipat speaking from my home. Today I love to tell you about my experience in practicing English, how to improve my English competency, in particular my communicative competency. I try my best to figure out what is the best solution in improving my English skill. I mean skills of four skills that have to be improved in parallel at the same time. The basic skill of communicative English is speaking, writing. This is called active expression skill, and the other side is passive communicative skill. That you have to listen, you have to read and understand the message that delivered by the others. And four skills need to be developed at the same time. You cannot think about the order, starting from reading and then followed by listening, speaking. That that's not true regarding to my direct experience. I try to listen to hundreds of YouTube variety of topics relevant to English improvement. I found that there are so many good YouTube teaching English and how to make better conversation. I love many among hundreds of video tube. I select a few YouTube and give advice to my fan club. There are many English teacher, not only American, British, Canadian, Australian. The individual have their own smart way of expressing their idea. So you need to listen to all and try to think about what is the most the most how to say the most YouTube that fit you yourself, because English is not science, it's not just science but art, and it need to think about it that something not fixed, but it is flexible, that only some that fit your style, your perception, your goal. I recommend at least three YouTube. The first one is YouTube created by American teacher Tiffany, who have her own experience, direct experience, while he moved to South Korea many years ago. And her passion is to study Korean language. Korean language is her second language. And she tried to start with the things she was taught when she was young. I mean, it is grammatical approach. She start and work hard on grammar and rules of Korean language. And after months, she found that her Korean language doesn't didn't improve so much. So she tried to change and looking for the other means that can help her more, improve much better and faster. Finally, she start talking and socializing with many Korean people. Let's talk, just talk and listen. Even she didn't know much, she didn't know many vocabulary. Previously, she think of learning one language, you're supposed to know exactly about the grammar, and you need to know many words. Finally, you can organize your idea in such a new language. But after 3 years, she found that she tried to be relaxing from grammar and rules, and she started having communication, just talking, listening, and she can learn more and more unconsciously. And she tried to share her experience to people around the world, in particular her fans, over millions fans, and she tried to convince her fans to use this technique to any language. That is the things I learned from teacher Tiffany, American teacher, and her experience is so invaluable. And I think it would be something incredible. And I hope that if you can adapt her idea and make it fit to your uh, own capability, it will be helpful, and you can prove by yourself what teacher Tiffany said is true. Another outstanding things in her YouTube that I love to recommend is the way she expressed her idea through her YouTube and her English lesson. There are so many things if you deeply listen, stay focusing on what she expressed on every of her YouTube. She moved her face, she rounded her lips naturally and very obviously. You can keep looking at her YouTube, deeply listen, and notice movement of her face organ, lips, face muscle, and you can memorize the most important things is called movement of face muscle. He said that it's about 43 face muscle in human being face. You copy her face, copy the way she move when she produce or she invent a word with a proper sound. That is very important to learn, better to say, to acquire second language. And another obvious things that she show why she expressing and telling about the secret of learning or acquiring second language is she tried to make like a summary or technique to improve each part of your expression, like how to make it clear in your pronunciation and how to combine your body language while you are speaking to make better understanding to whom you are talking to. And teacher Tiffany, in my views, she's a true inspirator, inspirer, yeah, to people who love to improve English skills. And the second teacher I love his style is teacher AJ Hawk. The way he tell his fan club is so outstanding, and his program is effortless English. The topic is so convincible because when you say something effortless or on the other word, it is easy. It's not complicated. It's a things natural. So you feel relaxing. And little by little, when you listen to his words that try to create uh, well organized or structured program, even 30 minutes, 40 minutes is not so long to keep deeply listen. And if you try to think along what you listen to his advice, you will feel that it's not so difficult to be a bilingual person. That feel you feel that is not difficult because his program is afforded English. That is nothing if you just believe, but you don't take any prompt actions and start your first lesson by your own. Yes, that is AJ Hawk. It is one native teacher that I would recommend you to watch his video. Another teacher is, let me think, another teacher is Bob. Bob is Canadian one. I just create one video mentioning about the way he teach English to people around the world. On one of his YouTube, it is about 2 hours. He tried to connect with his fan, listen question from his global fan, and he responds promptly to every question. It's not so long. One question, it took him only 30 seconds or 1 minute to give useful answer. And every time he will start with a repetition of the question. And that is outstanding because when you start to speak English, you may have experienced that it's very hard to set up question. So if you listen almost 2 hours YouTube of teacher Bob Canadian, you will know you can listen to hundreds of questions. So you can take note and try to practice many questions that you can use it in your daily life. And then you listen what Mr. Bob or teacher Bob gave answer to his fan. That is another one, YouTube, I love to recommend. Just search Bob Canadian teacher, something like that, and start listening deeply. That is another YouTube. Bob, AJ Hawk. Oh, another lady from England, teacher Ada. She's so outstanding because the way he speak, he move obviously, her face, her tongue, she show very clear when she round her lips, just to produce each words, how to uh, how to pronounce properly a single words, and she also have like a big show on intonation because if you can pronounce a single word properly, but when you speak a sentence, it is different story because intonation is a very important thing. When you communicate with people, you cannot talk separately, single words by one after one. You have to speak continuously, smoothly. That you need to flow your words beautifully, smoothly, and you cannot pronounce at the same sound as you practicing single words. You have to flow like a melody when you sing a song. Sometimes you have to weaken some words at a certain part of your sentence. That is another technique, and the best way to practice intonation is to listen to many speakers, because you have to listen to various style of the speaker, and you try to sing along, and you try to speak along, and finally you will know by yourself that what is the best style that fit to yourself. Intonation is not easy like some language. Thai language is much easier in terms of intonation, because in the structure of the Thai sentence, you can have like a voice of the one single word by its vowels. Yeah, that you can know like a ek, to, tri, ja, towa is a vowels that you can know like a melody, so you can speak with the tone up and down. But there are no vowel in English when you speak a long sentence or phrases, but you need to listen and try to listen more and more until one day you can know how to flow your sentence naturally, automatically. So pronunciation you can practice by listen every single word, but intonation, like how to say, if you can compare with song, yeah, that is so obvious. I love to take for instance when I come to this matter. Intonation is like a melody of a song. When you start practicing a song, you need to memorize the whole the whole lyrics for the first time, and you try to pronounce each word clearly. But when you start singing, you have to listen, and you have to copy what is the things you listen from the singer. This is melody. Melody intonation is uh, comparable, is quite similar in my opinions. Okay, another program I love to recommend. It is strongly recommended program is TED Talk. TED Talk. If you go to some category about language, is educational program. There are so many good programs. Many speakers who are invited to share, to exchange their point of view to audience. In English, one of the most popular YouTube that created 9 years ago is a TED Talk organized in China. The speaker is Mr. Chris Lonsdale, American, who who spent his life, who lived in China over 10 years, 10 years ago. And on the stage, he shared his experience. It's like teacher Tiffany, who spent her life in Korea. Chris London started his job in China, and his attention for the first time he loved to speak Mandarin or Cantonese, but he shared his experience. He's a proven experience. He's one who can conclude that everything happened to him just from day one when he arrived in China and what he intend to do. And he practiced Cantonese or Mandarin through his experiential learning. And on the stage, just only 18 minutes, but it's invaluable program. And I listened to this 9-year YouTube of 18 minutes long. As I remember, it's more than 40 times because I really fell in love with his way of sharing, and every part, everything he told the audience is so informative and compact. And if you listen deeply, you can apply, you can adapt every of his suggestion to your own practice, and you will know your English communication, your English speaking will be improved very fast. So I would recommend to have a look at the TED Talk. The topic is how to acquire second language within 6 months. And the other else, okay, I think that enough. If you search for the YouTube videos that I just recommend. Another thing is when you start practicing, you have to speak English out loud. And in the beginning, you will be uncomfortable because you can not speak fluently. You cannot speak out the thing you're gonna tell your audience. You cannot express naturally and automatically. From time to time, you got stuck because you still familiar with that thing in your Thai language, and you try to translate regarding to the way you study English through grammatical approach, and think about it as a normal because you uh, get used to because of curriculum, and now you start with your basic knowledge from school and start again and try to do everything in communicative approach to improve your speaking, and you start listening more, and you have to manage your own timeline, and you have to deeply listen to variety of program in English. You try to fix your most convenient times in a day, probably 1 hour before going to bed or the 1 hour after your dinner. That depends on the time you can allocate. But the most important thing is try to make it just like a routine every single day. I emphasize every single day. That is every day without any break, and at the specific time. You need to discipline yourself and think of these activities as a must, not just a leisure a hobby and you enjoy doing, just someday you feel that, but someday you always said you have the other um, uh, important thing to do, and you cannot develop or improve your skill very fast. I try to make my own YouTube, try to make my program, collecting a part of a YouTube I just mentioned, and I try to add on my idea to a short video clip, just 30 seconds, and I try to analyze and tell my fan what the things, what is the obvious thing, yeah, I uh, I can notice by my past experience, because I believe that I am Thai. I'm studying in Thailand schooling system. I spent whole of my life in Thailand ecosystem. So I probably be the right person who can share with you, because we are in the same, exactly the same environment and exactly the same educational experience. And if I can speak English fluently without thinking in Thai first, so what I'm telling you, what the examples I recommend you, gonna be highly beneficial to Thai audience. That is the things I will be doing, keep doing, till one day some of my audience can be someone who stand up and start day one practicing through the way I recommend. And if you experience yourself by starting as my recommendation, and you face some problem, you can share your experience through by the underneath comment box, so I can know we can arrange like a video call to share your experience and what the problems that I recommend and probably I overlook. So we are making like a knowledge-based society. We can make a better thing through brainstorming process. That is the things I love to say today. Thank you very much. See you next time, next clip. Thank you. สวัสดีครับ
Educate one person, you can change a life. But if you educate many, you can change the world.